Hello everyone, welcome to episode 90 of the Lofty Loops Yarns podcast. Wow, it has been a minute. My name is Allison. I am the dyer behind Lofty Loops Yarns and the owner of this YouTube channel where I sit down and I chat about all the things that I've been making since we last chatted. And let me tell you, it's been a few months, and I'm pretty sure I said in the last episode that I wanted to get more consistent, and then life, literally, the stuff hit the fan. And I went through a pretty big life change recently, and I can chat about that again towards the end of the episode if you're interested. But things are changing around here, for the better or worse, still TBD, but we are here. I wanted to sit down and do another podcast so bad and chat with you all and give you all updates and all the things, but I felt like because I hadn't worked on a ton, I didn't have enough content to share. But then I finally kicked myself and was like, you know, this is silly. Like, let's just, who cares? Who cares how many projects I have to share? I miss y'all and I wanted to chat with you. So before I dive too deep into what I'm working on and all the feelings, I wanted to say welcome back if you're a returning viewer. If this is your first time joining me, thanks so much. This is probably not your typical yarny podcast. It's kind of a hot mess, and if you're into hot messes, then this might be the place for you. Like I said, I am a hand-dyed yarn company owner. I'm an indie dyer, and I dye hand-dyed yarns for Lofty Loops Yarns. And because of that, I also knit, I crochet, I do all the things. I spin a little bit every now and again. I haven't cross-stitched in ages, but it's something I've done in the past. But I just like to make things with my hands. I am a web developer during the day, so I sit at a screen. And because of that, I really enjoy the time away from the screen where I can make things tangible. And so that is how this was all born. I live in Lincoln, Nebraska with my husband and our two kiddos and our cat, who makes a pretty regular appearance here on Vlogmas and vlogs and things of that nature. She really thinks this is her YouTube channel, and it might be. That's fine. I'll allow it. But yeah, luckily the door's closed. She won't be making an appearance today, but if you know her, you'll love her. What else? You can find me everywhere on social media, but I am most active on Instagram as Lofty Loops. That is also everything I post to Instagram gets posted to Facebook at Lofty Loops Hand-Dyed Yarns. I am on Blue Sky and Threads. Threads is, again, just another it's posting to Instagram, might as well post to Threads as well. So I don't check it very often. Yeah, I'm really trying to kind of put some distance between Meta and myself, and that's harder, I think. Easier said than done. But loving Blue Sky, and obviously here on YouTube. We also have a Discord server that is really slow right now. I will admit I am not the best at keeping up with that. But if you want to get in and chatter with the folks that are in there, please feel free to join us. Links will be in the description. I do try to at least post updates and things of that nature as far as what's coming into the shop and things like that. But if you want the most up-to-date info, give me a follow on Instagram, join my broadcast channel there on Instagram, and then sign up for the email newsletter to get all of the things that you ever want to know. I also have a Patreon. If you're over on Patreon, there is a free membership there as well as tiered supportive memberships. So go check that out. Again, all of the links are below, but that's not what you're here for. You're here to chat about what I've been working on. So I do have a couple finished objects. I believe the last time we chatted, you saw a half object, but I have completed the full pair. I've got a full pair of socks. I've got two full pair of socks, a half object, so one sock out of a pair. I've got the elephant in the room we'll chat about here soon. And I think that's all as far as finished objects. And then I've got just a few things I've been really kind of focused on, working on in the past few months. Two of those being Advent projects from December that are still not done. But First finished object I wanted to share with you is my festive cold brew socks. So this is a pattern that I wrote. It is available on Ravelry, Etsy, and my website if you're interested. It's just a really fun slip stitch pattern that gives self-striping yarn just a little bit of extra excitement, some visual stuff going on. The yarn that I used is Freckled Whimsy in the Christmas Playlist colorway. And I love these colors. They're not so in your face Christmassy, but they are festive enough, you know, to give Christmas vibes, kind of vintage Christmas vibes, but also I feel like I could wear these outside of the Christmas season. So I do have two done. I knit these on my 9-inch circular needles. I use a US 1 2.25 millimeter. I do usually 20 to 25 rounds of knit 2 purl 2 ribbing for the cuff, and then I went through, did the entire patterning all the way around the leg portion, slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, and then when you get to the foot, the sole of the foot is normal stockinette, and then the patterning is just along the top of the foot, and then I've got my standard wedge toe that I always do. The cuff and heel were both coordinating minis that came along in the sock set from Freckled Whimsy. I love these socks. I love this base. This is the, I want to say, the Splendid base, I think. I believe it's an 8515. If I'm wrong, I will correct myself on screen, but it's so plump and nice and squishy and lovely, and I adore this base. This is what I got with their Advent skein a couple years ago, and I've been addicted ever since. Which, plugging for Freckled Whimsy, I saw that their 2025 Advent sock sets are now available. I have yet to grab one, but those are available if that's something you're into. I don't know. Yes, I do. Nope. I must have taken them to my room because I've been wearing them. I thought I had my finished 2024 Advent socks, but I do not. So that is what I'm calling my festive cold brew socks, and they are complete. So they will finally get to go into the sock drawer. I have a really bad habit of casting on a sock, finishing the first sock, and then being distracted by other yarn and forgetting to knit the second sock of the pair. Because of that, I have a long list in Ravelry of half-finished objects, and so last year I was trying really hard to go through all of those and just give each one the attention they deserved so I could finally have finished pairs of socks. It's so silly to have, like, for example, single sock, single sock, single sock. They're all just piled up over here, right? Like, I have so many single socks that just need their mate. And so that was something I decided to put brain power towards last year, and I wanted to continue doing that this year and finally catch back up with all of my sock whips. And so in doing that, I did finish the second sock of my Wildest Dreams socks from the Cozy Knitter. This is Self-Striping Yarn by Christina, the Cozy Knitter. And this was, I want to say, a club colorway from like back in 2020. So I don't know if it's available. I've had it, it's deep stash, but I do have the second one done. So very exciting. Happy to have these. Again, same recipe as my cold brew. So 2x2 ribbing, and then stockinette for the leg, slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, and then a stockinette foot down to a wedge toe. This is written up and available as my Lofty Loops vanilla socks. This is just kind of my recipe, my go-to recipe that I do every single time I want to knit a pair of vanilla socks. And I wrote it down for myself, really was the intention. And then I was asked quite a bit about how I knit my vanilla socks. And so I decided just to make it a couple bucks because Ravelry needs to get their portion, you know, all that jazz. But yeah, so it's available for just a couple bucks, or if you join as a paid supporter over on Patreon, you get it for free. But yeah, just a simple vanilla sock. And again, another finished pair. I love these. I love the colors. They're so bright and springy and vibrant and exciting. So really looking forward to wearing these with my Birks, as the weather is not quite the warmest, still slightly chilly. But it is warming up, and that's very exciting. And while we're talking socks, I will show you my half finished object, and then we'll talk about the most exciting one of all, in my opinion. But this was recently finished, like within last week. And this was just, again, another deep stash cast on. I saw this calling to me from my stash when I went looking for something else. And I was like, you know what? Let's do this. It's gorgeous. And I'm so glad I did. This colorway is so, so pretty. This is Snowy Pine Treant from the corner of Craft and Chromatic yarns. I've got hair. My hair is all over it. And this is on their sparkle base, so I don't know if you can see it. Can't quite see the sparkle coming through because it is getting blown out with the window. Maybe there just a little bit. Hannah's sparkle base is different than my glitz base, which is a silver stellina as well, but this is Lorex. And it is twisted somehow. It is spun within the merino and nylon differently than the stellina. So I believe the stellina are like, they're shorter staples, so they kind of like stick out little bits, and you can feel the texture of it on, like, for example, my glitz base or the silver stellina base that a lot of indie dyers use. This one, I believe the Lorex is longer staples, and so it lays really nicely with the rest of the fibers. And I feel like this is making, there you can kind of see it a little. Hopefully that'll come together a little bit better kind of when I edit the video, but it's just really pretty. And I am kind of, I don't know that I'd ever swap out my glitz base, but this could be a really fun one to have kind of on the side as another option. Maybe you can see it in the toe there. There we go. Maybe a little. It's just really subtle. It's much prettier in person. And again, if my lights weren't blowing it out completely. It just lays nicer in my opinion. I don't know. It's really pretty. And this base is scrumptious. It's smooshy. It's plump. It's soft. Here's the cake. I love Hannah's yarn. I can't remember when I bought this, but it was definitely during a winter update because it is a winter colorway. But it's so pretty. There's the mini that came with it. So there you can really see that sparkle in there. And it's just, it's different, right? Like and I love that. So that was been really fun to work on. It literally knit itself. It was so quick. And it was really mindless. Again, my typical vanilla sock recipe, nothing fancy here. And I just really enjoy it. Will I cast on the second one right away? We'll see. I should. I want to. I should just do it. I should make that my goal for today. Just do it, get it on the needles, and then it will get knit. I say this. We'll see. Check back with me next time. And most exciting of all, I mean, socks are exciting. We all love knitted socks, right? But this one is so amazing. I will probably chat about this for quite a while. I fell in love with the Grid Gambit shawl. No, it's not really a shawl. Grid Gambit. Cowl? Yes, cowl. Fell in love with it as soon as I saw it. I knew I wanted to make one. I had a whole bunch of hand spun that I need to find projects for. I think with my hand spun yarn, I feel like I have to have the perfect project to use it because so much work went into actually creating the yarn. And for whatever reason in my brain, I feel like it's silly, but I feel like frogging is not an option, even though it totally is if I'm not loving something. But as soon as I saw this, I knew I wanted it. This is a pattern by Samantha Guerin. It's beautiful. It's so easy. It was so quick to knit, and the way that my hand spun is just living its best life in this makes me so happy. Let me stand up. So here it is. It goes all the way down. This is my belly button for reference if you care. We've got jeans here. It's this beautiful, just pointed bandana like cowl, but it has the most amazing mosaic knit pattern to it. And the purple, pink, white, gray contrast color is my hand spun. The dark, kind of greeny, dark gray. It's got a little bit of a green tinge to it, but that is a DK weight by Treehouse Knits. And I will say, while I was working on this, here, I'm going to take it off so I can show you. When I was working on it, I was so scared I was going to run out of the dark gray DK. I thought for sure when I started this that I would run out of my hand spun, but turns out I have plenty of that left over. I was very worried about running out the main color. Happy to say I did not. I don't have a whole bunch left, but I had enough left to do the final, like, seaming together, binding off, all the things. So you start, I don't want to give too much away, but you do start at, this is where it's seamed together. So you start at one of the ends and you just kind of work it flat all the way, and then at the end you connect the beginning and the end together and you do a little mattress stitch. Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful. So you're knitting it on the bias and it just looks so pretty. And I love the way my hand spun gradiated through this project. I love the way the contrast color just lets it do its thing. And this is the very first project I've ever knit with my hand spun, ever. And I am now obsessed. I want to knit all the things, and I will absolutely be making another one of these. I will say at the back, I don't think I seamed as far down as you could. So this is kind of, here's a corner here and a corner here. I only did it about halfway down just so it was open more, so it would lay nicer across my shoulders because I do have some broader shoulders. But it's so nice. Here, for reference, is the rest of that hand spun. So I have quite a lot left. This fiber was picked up from Lady Llama when I went to Vogue Knitting Live New York City in 2020. It was a long time ago. Finally spun it up. It ended up being a sport to DK weight, I would say. I did a 2-ply. And I don't really know what I'm doing yet when I'm spinning, so I kind of faked it till I made it, but I attempted some sort of gradiated fractal spin and I think I pulled it off. Oh, wanted to say I did knit this for the Grid Gambit Cowl hosted by Samantha Guerin and the Botanical Knitter. So that happened right as I finished this hand spun. And so I was like, well, it's very serendipitous. Now I have to, I feel like, the universe is telling me that this needs to become a thing. And it like I said, it worked up so quickly. It was such a fun knit. It was so enjoyable to see the hand spun work up. And I adore it. As far as what else I have been working on, just a couple more projects. I've been, like I said, I dove into those socks and pretty much stayed monogamous to those until it was done. Or the one sock, I should say. And then recently picked back up my Cozy Classic Raglan that I am knitting using my Fibre Fox Advent fade. So I've got, I'm probably about halfway through the body at this point. This was kind of a made up as I go situation. I knew that I wanted to use my faded Advent from Fiberfox. This was last year's Advent, 2024. I knew I wanted to hold it together with a Suri silk, nice alpaca fluff. But I didn't necessarily know what pattern to use. I opted for the Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Maed Designs, and I'm super happy with it. I was worried about doing short row shaping and things with the way that I'm working through each one of these minis, but honestly, like, I don't even think you can really tell because this Advent just gradiates so smoothly and fades into itself. I am not doing any special fading between rows. When I change colors, I am simply changing colors and going with the next. And like I said, this has been such a subtle fade that I haven't needed to do any special management color-wise, and it's been absolutely amazing. So let's see. Here, where I've got this marker, that is where I switched colors last time, or the time before last, I should say. I'm knitting 8 rounds and then switching to the next color. So just here, maybe you could see a double stitch, maybe there, I changed to the next color. So every 8 rounds, or about every inch, I'm changing colors, and look at, you can't even tell. Isn't that amazing? The idea is I will go through, knit the full body until I hit a certain point where I want it. I will likely not get through all 24 colors, and that's fine. But I do have enough after knitting my 8 rounds on the body that I'm hopeful that I will have enough to do 8 rounds on the arms, and so I can continue the fade on the arms as well, and it should match up. So, hopeful. Still have yet to test that out, as I just, split for sleeves and put them on hold. So I haven't actually started knitting a sleeve yet, but we'll see. If I have to make them a little bit shorter, I'm okay with that. But it just starts out with the most subtle pink speckles, fades into this light creamy pink, into more of a plummy pink, and then we hit purple, and now we're getting into these beautiful purple blues, and I am loving this so much. It's really hard to show. It makes it really slick having that suri on the needles, but it's just, and again, I feel like it's so subtle and it's so light and beautiful that it's getting blown out on camera. In person, it's so dreamy. I will take notes if I haven't already and put them on my Ravelry project page if anyone is interested in seeing how I'm accomplishing this. For the neckline, or for the collar, I feel like I did that last time. Why can't I ever remember the word collar? For the collar or on the neckband, I just used a plain white undyed and held it together with my suri. And then this is just plain undyed suri as well. So nothing fancy going on there, just adding that little bit of fluff. And I feel like adding the white suri is lightening it all up enough and making it so soft and pastel-y. It's beautiful because here's the current color I'm working with. While it is light and pastel and gorgeous, it's still definitely darker on its own than when paired with the white suri. And that's honestly, that's my favorite hack. I am loving pairing things with suri fluff so much. I just can't get over it. And this was all inspired by my Korean poncho that I did with 2 years before that Advent was beautiful. And I wanted same vibes, so here we are. And speaking of the Korean poncho, that was knit using the Chelsea Yarns 2023 Advent calendar. I did get a 2024 Advent as well, and for that I decided I wanted to do my Sleigh All Day Cowl pattern that I wrote a few years back for Advent specifically. And this one is not faded. I'm not doing any sort of color management other than I believe I'm going in order of when I opened. At least I started that way. I don't know if that's still the case. Yeah, I shared this on the last episode as well, but I did put in a little bit more work on it since then. So this cowl is just a really fun pattern where you do all these different sections in each mini, and it just keeps it, you know, potato chippy enough where it holds your interest, you don't get bored. And let me tell you, Advent projects can be such a slog because they're very large projects usually because you're using 24 different mini skeins, and oftentimes it's the same thing every single day for 24 to 25 days. Or if you stay on track, I should say. But if you do it longer than that, whatever, it takes longer, but still it's the same thing. So I really wanted to create a pattern that would shake things up every few days and keep you intrigued. And when I say you, I mean me, because squirrel, I get distracted easily, and so I didn't want that to be the case with this project. And this is actually the second one that I've made. The first one was my sample using a Fibre Fox Advent. You can see that on the pattern page. But yeah, it's just, this one's really fun. I like that the first one I did faded, and this one is just kind of a free-for-all, while I feel like Chelsea still managed to keep colors in the same family, and that is the case with the rest of the minis I have left. So that's been really fun to work on. I'm working through some brioche right now. And in between each section, you get this little bit of garter transition. And in doing so, you use the New Days color. So whatever comes after this section, you add your next day, you do some garter, and then you do your pattern section. Add the next day, do some garter, do your pattern section. Whenever I'm doing those garters, I'm adding a little bit of, surprise, fluff. And with this one, I knew that Chelsea kind of had this like pinky, kind of, I mean, orange, pink, reds, like a little bit. Yeah, they're kind of more in the warmer side. But I had this really pretty light pink, it's almost gone, light pink suri alpaca on my Lofty Cloud base that I wanted to add in. So this is just getting added in those garter sections only. If you wanted to hold it completely all the way throughout, you totally could. I just like having that little bit of, I don't know, extra sensory stuff with every transition. But yeah, this is my Sleigh All Day Cowl. I also have a Sleigh All Day wrap that is knit flat on the bias. So that's actually what I started with. That was the very first iteration of the pattern. But then I know some people are opposed to doing a ton of purling, and that is understandable. Some people enjoy knitting in the round rather than knitting flat. And so I wanted to kind of manipulate it into having a in the round type project. So this one, you do a provisional cast on, you're knitting in the round, making this very long tube, and then at the end, you then go back and you seam the two ends together, and it makes an infinity cowl. And because you're knitting it in the round, it is double thick, so it is extra cozy and fantastic. those patterns are available on Ravelry, Etsy, my website, pretty much anywhere you can find patterns. I saw a lot of them kind of come to fruition this last Advent season, and that was so exciting to see. I love seeing all the different versions. I love seeing different Advents worked up in it, and I'm loving getting the feedback from everyone saying how much that they love the pattern and how it changes to keep you interested and things like that. So highly recommend checking that out as we are already thinking about Advents for 2025, but more on that later. Since we last spoke, I do have a little bit of stash acquisition to share. I haven't been doing too terribly much purchasing this year because I did start the year with the intention that I wanted to stash down and use up my beautiful stash that I've had for years. That being said, I put in a couple orders from some friends during their pre-orders, and I also subscribed to the Mercerie Year of Socks and Year of Fiber Club. That just means I get a sock set and a fiber braid every month through 2025. I did that a little bit last year. I think, did I do that all of last year? I did do that all of last year, which means I also have a lot of stash to work through. Last year it was just sock sets though. It wasn't fiber, and fiber was something new for this year. So as the spinning bug bit me hard last year, I'm drowning in fiber over here. I have more fiber than I probably know what to do with, but I'm finding spinning to be so meditative and just calming and nice. And it's been great. It's scratching an itch that I had. So I'm just loving it. And so I might have a lot of fiber to spin through this year, but we all know how much I love Georgie and Ben of the Fibre Fox, and so I did jump into one of their first updates from this year, and this is their Daenerys colorway. I got it on a few different colors because I thought it was so beautiful. So this is their Luxe sock base. It is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it's such a beautiful soft colorway. I couldn't resist. So I've got a sock set to make a really pretty pair of socks. I also grabbed it on their merino Aran base, which is 100% superwash merino. Beautiful. And because that wasn't enough, I had to grab a fiber braid as well. So this is 100% Corriedale fiber, 26.5 micron, and again, that same Daenerys colorway. I think this is what sold me because fiber. Obviously the skeins are gorgeous, but whenever I order from the UK, I try to not order one thing because shipping already costs so much. So I have to make it, girl math, I have to make it worth my while. So beautiful, beautiful fiber braid. It's just so soft and delicate and gorgeous and squishy and great. So that was an early purchase for the year. I also had put in a order during Witchfire Fibers pre-order, and they brought back, oh, I can't remember the collection. Was it a Crescent City collection, or was it, I think it was just a Sarah J. Maas collection. They released it last year, and I wanted to jump in and grab a couple things. I can't remember whatever, it doesn't matter. All that being said, this is a true wolf from the Sarah J. Maas collection, and this is on their double sock set, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and a 2-ply. This is my favorite base. This is what my lofty sock base is. I love knitting socks out of this base. So this will be a fun pair of socks. I did see a sample knit up, and I know it looks fantastic, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then fiber, hello. This is 100% American Rambouillet, and this is their Dry Dock colorway. So these pops of colors are just So fantastic. I can't remember what top or sweater it was, but she knit a sweater out of this colorway on yarn and it was stunning. Go check out her Instagram feed if you're curious. But I knew I wanted it. I did not buy a sweater quantity like I wanted originally, but I just was like, you know what, I have to at least get some fiber. I'll spin this up. It's beautiful. Then it looks like most recently, I believe this is April of the Mercerie year of socks and fiber. So every month highlights a different dyer, which is super fun. And if you get the yarn versus the fiber, those are also two different dyers. So they're working off the same mood board every month, but you get to experience completely new dyers to you. And I think that's the most fun part of the club, at least it was for me last year. I also have a lot of dyer friends that were going to be in the club this year and dyeing for it, so I knew I had to support. And this is one of those said friends, so I was really excited to see this when it showed up earlier this month. Again, this is April's. I think there still might be some left in the shop, some extras. Don't quote me on that, but this is Knitting Lizard Fibers, and this is called Vintage Daydreams. It is their merino twist sock set, 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. And it's a beautiful 2-ply. Again, I love a 2-ply yarn. I know I'm in kind of the minority. Everyone loves a 4-ply, but I will die on the hill of a 2-ply yarn. So pretty. I love this green teal to go with it. It's such a pretty contrast. And you could totally see after looking at the fiber how they're the same, but they're not. Like, you could see the inspiration where it came from, and obviously seeing the mood board that Mercerie shares as well is really fun, but it's so cool to see how people come up with different things. This colorway is Wood Ash, and it is 100% Corriedale. And it is by 316 Dye Studio, hand-dyed yarn and fiber from Wichita, Kansas. This is a new dyer to me, so I'm really excited to give them a follow and check them out. Yeah, very pretty. This is going to be a gorgeous, just rich hand spun yarn. This would make a really pretty grid Gambit. So I highly recommend jumping into that club if you're able, if they have spots open. It's been super fun so far, and I have 4 sock sets and 4 fiber braids so far for the year. I have not knit or spun with any of them. That's okay. I do want to take a few moments to talk about the new collection that is launching this Friday. So as you are seeing this, you will see this before the actual collection launches. I'm filming this on Wednesday. I'm hoping to post it on Thursday, and then the collection will come on Friday. April 11th at 4 p.m. Central Time, I am re-releasing my colorways from last year's Advent calendar. That was the Advent of Magic and Whimsy, which was a bookish themed Advent, where I took inspiration from some of my favorite romantasy books. Yes, ACOTAR was one of them because I couldn't make a bookish themed Advent without including ACOTAR. I feel like that's just a default. But I also included When the Moon Hatched and the Plated Prisoner series by Rebecca Kennedy, which is so great, and From Blood and Ash. Previously, I had dyed up, I had a From Blood and Ash club a few years back, but I wanted to revisit it again because it is one of my favorite book series. So I have just a few examples to share. All of these are posted to my grid before Friday. I'm hoping to have all the listings up on the website so people can peruse those before they're made available. So if you're curious, you can go check out the website as well, but they're definitely up on the Instagram grid. I don't have scanned examples for all the colors to show you, but I do have some samples that were worked up, so I can share those. So the first one, week 1 of the 4-week Advent from last year, was Starfall, and this was the Akatar inspired colorway. Starfall is a ceremony in which spirits migrate across the sky. It looks like shooting stars. It was the first time, well, I don't want to spoil anyone if you haven't read the books, but it is a pretty pivotal moment in the series. And it's only seen in the Night Court. So it's just this really pretty kind of deep nighttime blue. It does have some speckles in here that are blacklight reactive. So if you put it under a blacklight, it will glow. And then the contrast color, I've just named the Migration. It is this gorgeous tealy blue. So pretty. I do have skeins of that. Here it is on Soft Sock. These are all tonals. They are not solids because there are tonality differences throughout the skein, but they should be full tonals, no variegation, semi-solids. So I've gone ahead and dyed all of the contrast minis up as full-size skeins that will also be available together, separately, whatever, during the update. Here's another sock that I cranked. The cuff, heel, and toe, not great. It was practice on my Dina Bean circular sock machine. You can see how that works up in another sock. After that, week 2 was Plated in Gold, which was based off the Plated Prisoner series, where it's a romantasy based on King Midas, where everything he touches turns to gold. Really great series, in my opinion. And so this has all those beautiful gold, kind of bronzy, just really decadent colors. And this, again, was another attempt of a sock on my Dina Bean sock machine. Not as bad as the first one, still not great, but it was fun. I mean, it's fun to work up samples in it. The contrast color is this gorgeous yellow gold, really bright, pretty yellow gold. This is gilded. So we've got Plated in Gold and gilded. The next one I don't have a physical sample for because I cranked up a tube on my sock machine and then ended up ripping it back out because I do want to use that yarn in a project. So I can insert a photo of what that looks like. But I do have a sock set here that I can show as well. Oh, we're getting out of order. This was the 4th week. I was trying to go in order, but I screwed up already. This is Nyktos, which is based on From Blood and Ash. Nyktos is the primal of death in that book, which sounds a lot scarier than it actually is. He's a pretty good dude. No spoilers, but it's this really pretty, just tanny browns with this awesome berry wine stain color on top. And it worked up so pretty, in my opinion. Here's the mini, but I also have full skeins as well. This is getting really blown out. Maybe if I... It's getting really blown out. This is Heartmate and Nyktos. Just that same plummy pink wine color. And the last but not least is from When the Moon Hatched. In that book, it's a romantasy, but less of a romance and more focused on dragons, which I love a good dragon book. In this book, they have 4 different factions or breeds of dragon. One of them is the Moon Plumes. The Moon Plumes have icy, iridescent, pearlescent scales and like fluffy feathers. The way they're described in the books, they're instantly my favorite. And so I knew I wanted to dye some yarn based on their description. And so this is Moon Plume. Again, we're blowing out a little. Let's see if I can get, there we go. get a little bit closer. There's lots of different pops of kind of that pearlescent vibe in there, those speckles. Really subtle in some areas, not so subtle in others. This is a really, really fun colorway, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. So I did a sample, my Dina Bean sock machine, which I will eventually turn into a pair of socks. Here is the shade, is what I'm calling this color. It's coming across a lot lighter here on camera than it is in person. It's more of a dusky blue gray, but still kind of gives that icy tonality to it. It's hard to describe, and it's really hard to get the correct color. There's maybe a little bit better, but that is the tonal for that pairing. And just so you can compare, since yes, I did 2 different blue colors, you know, if I'm not dyeing blue, who even am I? This is Migration, this is the shade. So you can see this one is definitely more tealy. This one is definitely more silvery, icy blue. So those 4 will all be in the update starting Friday. It will be a 4-week turnaround. That's what I'm shooting for. So it will be a really quick pre-order. I will have a few different bases, quite a few different bases available. All of that information will be in the listing, but I'm not gonna be able to remember all of them off the top of my head right now because my bases keep expanding, which is fantastic, but then it's harder for me to keep track of and remember versus when I had like 3 different bases to offer. So all of that will be in the listing. Like I said, I want to get those listings up and on the website ahead of time so people can peruse and kind of read and maybe plan and scheme and all the things before that opens up on Friday. I will likely keep the pre-order open. I don't know, it depends on how quickly it fills. I don't want to go super far with it to where I'm overshooting my 4-week turnaround, but also I have extra capacity right now, so we'll just kind of play around. I will make sure to update everyone on all of the media feeds as to when that might be closing and give everyone kind of a 24-hour, you know, warning. One last thing before I jump into something else, I just have to show you how scrumptious these look on mohair silk on my Lofty Cloud base. If that doesn't scream Easter, like this could be Peeps or those chocolate eggs, right? Like this looks so Eastery to me, and that was not the intention at all, but the way it worked out, I'm like, this is perfect timing for an Eastery spring update. So those are so pretty. Again, these look really similar, but if I get close, you can tell this one, the silk in there really turned that teal blue, whereas this one is very gray. So similar, same a little bit, but this is definitely more teal. And if I hold up all of them on sock, you can see just how Eastery these all look. Wouldn't that be a gorgeous blanket? Or some color work? I think those work so nicely together. So, very happy with how the tonals ended up. Very much looking forward to the update, and I'm very much looking forward to casting on some fun projects. I already have thoughts. Another thing I wanted to mention real quick, since we're talking updates, is my Color Cube Club is still going strong. That is a monthly club where I dye up different colorways based on my Color Cube, which gives me palettes. There's 250 cards in the Color Cube, so I am doing random number generator, picking numbers, and then pulling that palette out and then dyeing the yarn based on the palette given. And last year it was so much fun, and it got me so far outside of my comfort zone dyeing up different colors that I never would have reached for if it was just me having the inspo. So I love that this is really just making me grow as a dyer. I do have quite a few March sets left in the shop. I did kind of go ham and dyed up quite a few of these because I loved them so much. So this is the March colorway. And I've got some sock sets on glitz, sock, soft sock. I've got some single skeins without the minis. So definitely if you're interested, go check those out. These are limited, like once they're gone, they're gone. I'm not re-dyeing these. So if you want one, go grab it while it's there. April's clubs are open. You can see the inspiration for that. I can insert a photo, but there's also a listing where you can see the inspiration. I also have quarterly clubs open. So if you know you want to jump in for the next 3 months, you can do so, pay all at once. And then you'll get a package sent out every month for the next 3 months. So you can see the color cube cards for April, May, and June on the website right now. That's also a really good way to kind of peek ahead, and maybe you are like, oh my gosh, June is speaking to me. I definitely want in for that. Make a mental note. Otherwise, yeah, I love the Color Cube Club. It's been so much fun. And this weekend, I'm going to be dyeing up the April clubs. With that, that's going to lead me into kind of what's coming next in terms of Lofty Loops yarns. So I'm going to take a super quick break, but because of the magic of editing, it's not going to be a quick break to you. I did schedule a class. I'm going to go work out and then I'll be back. Probably hair will be different. Hopefully I won't look too much of a hot mess, but I did say early on this was going to be a hot mess. So here we go. When you see me next, I'm going to be freaking swole. You ready for it? Did I do it? Am I swole? Can you tell? No? Okay. Well, I'm back. Just worked out. It was great. Yes. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, what's coming next at Lofty Loops HQ? Glad you asked. This is very exciting. I am going to have a couple things. One of them being, I mentioned April's Club. So this weekend, when I go to dye it up, I am going to record myself walking through the whole process. I'm going to talk about what yarns I'm using, what equipment I'm using, what dyes I'm using specifically, and I will even share, within reason, recipes, because I have to keep some things proprietary, right? But I'm going to share the full process. This is something I've never done before. Obviously, I have videos and vlogs where you've seen me dyeing and I kind of chat through, but I've never really done more of an in-depth video. I really want to do this. I don't believe in keeping information from people that want to learn, but also everyone, you know, needs to understand that small businesses have their small businesses and things that they do to generate revenue, all of that stuff. So while I love to share information, I can't necessarily give out everything because I'm still a business, right? But I do want to get more in depth and share some of those things with you. If that's something that you're interested in, I am going to open up memberships here on YouTube. There's going to be a couple different tiers of memberships. I will likely create a secondary video that goes along that explains these in depth a little bit more, but for the sake of right now, 2 tiers of memberships. The larger one being you will have access to these in-depth dye videos. What does that mean? Every month, at least for the Color Cube Club, I want to film one of these videos. So you can watch the process from start to finish, see how it's done, all of the good stuff, actually get down to the nitty-gritty and what it all entails, how long it takes, how I speckle, how I decide on colors, all of the things. You're gonna get a step inside my brain. We will see how that goes with the Color Cube Club on a monthly basis. If it's going really well, I would like to start doing more colorways and more videos every month. But for now, the membership will include 1 video per month in depth that you will have access to. You will have access to all of the videos as long as you remain a member. Chances are I'm going to also include that over on Patreon. So if the Patreon tier that wants this in-depth video, if you support on that tier, you will also get access to these videos. That's kind of my brainchild right now. Still trying to work through some details, but at the very least, know that if you join the membership this weekend or early next week to mid next week, there will be a video in depth talking about all things April Color Cube Club, and you'll watch that colorway come to life. The other tier that I want to open is, we know here that I love doing giveaways. I've been doing giveaways pretty much every episode for the last handful of episodes, 6 months to a year. So I do have one for this episode, so stay tuned. My husband and brother-in-law, my brother-in-law, I think I might have mentioned this before, but he has a card breaking channel where, what does that mean? They break open boxes of trading cards on YouTube. They do it live, all the things. People get to buy into these breaks, and it's kind of gambling. It's kind of like the lottery. Like, you buy a spot in the break, and then you either get to choose or you get chosen for you which team you get. Or with wrestling, I don't know, they break it down. It's a whole thing. If you're curious, you could go check out their channel, but I'll drop it down below. But they also do this thing where on their memberships, on their YouTube page, everyone that buys into a low tier membership gets entered into this fun, they call it a duck race. And so they take everyone that's in for that at the time that episode airs. They put all the names in a list, and then you get these little ducks or whatever you want, smiley faces, it can be a whole bunch of things. And you get put into a race, and you actually get to watch them race across screen to see whose duck wins. That winner gets then a free spot into the next break. However, I think I can spin this because I think it's so fun to watch these little ducks. And I might look to see if there's like, maybe there's sheep, maybe there's balls of yarn. I don't know. We'll make it yarny, right? Like, we got to stay on brand. So I'm going to try to do this, see what I can come up with. It might be ducks for the first couple times, but the ducks are super cute, I promise. People in the lower tier, we're going to do the race every episode, and then whoever wins will then have a prize, a giveaway prize. If it's not a physical skein that I have or something physical to give away for that episode, it will be a gift certificate to my store. We can talk otherwise, other ideas. This is just kind of my brain. You're like seeing this happen in real time. But I think that's going to be so much fun. So for the first one, because I love my patrons that have been supporting me over on Patreon, they are going to actually also be entered into the duck race. And so I think I'll host one this episode just so everyone can kind of get a feel for what it is using my patron subscribers over there. Moving forward, you will then see a YouTube membership for these specific races. I'm still going to do giveaways randomly that you don't have to be a member for, but let's say you watch the episode, you comment, you do all the giveaway things, you want an extra entry, and you want to support the channel, you can also join this, and then you'll just have double the extra, giveaway spots. So we're gonna play with this. I think it's fun. It's really fun to watch when they do it, and it's like just with trading cards, which I'm like, yarn is way cooler than trading cards. So we'll see. We're gonna test this out. So stay tuned to the end of the episode to see how that works. But just know you'll likely see memberships pop up on YouTube by the time this channel or this video airs. That is what those are. That was a lot. I know, y'all are here for yarny content, and I'm just sitting here talking at you the whole time. Oh, one quick thing I wanted to share during my works in progress. My son works at a shop that carries a whole bunch of crafting, gaming, fun, hobby type stuff. They got in a whole bunch of Woobles, and I told him I was really interested in a kit solely for this purpose. Hold on. The custom crochet hooks that come in these sets are so stinking cute. And this is obviously Minecraft themed Wooble, but look how cute this crochet hook is. I needed it. So like I asked him to grab me one. Obviously I paid him back solely for the crochet hook. I wanted the crochet hook. But also it gives you step-by-step instructions to make this the creeper from Minecraft. You'll see my yarn is in a ball instead of a nice little cake because I did already make this creeper one time. However, I thought I was a little too big for my britches and knew what I was doing and did not have to look at any instructions or video tutorials, and I ended up doing the whole single crochet wrong the entire time. So he was a little wonky at the end. So I ripped it back out instead of keeping it as is. So I'm going to redo this at some point soon. But in this kit, you get all the things that you need, which is so cute. So I have a little bit of black yarn. It does feel like it's cotton yarn. Obviously this is very like variegated or tonal, like highly, oops. You get the fluff that you need to stuff him with. And then in here you have instructions. I've got his eyes, his mouth. You get a little darning needle to sew all the ends together. There's all sorts of little bits and bobs in here. So that's super cute. You get your yarn comes pre-started. So like it's already got the little starter chain circle magic loop there. That's super neat. So this is super beginner friendly. Kids are doing this. This says time to complete is 3 to 8 hours. I think it took me 1, 2. Granted, I'm not a beginner, although I apparently should have been because I did it wrong. But yeah, you get online instructions. You get step-by-step videos that walk you through. It's just really cute. So I know Woobles aren't new. It's not a new thing. They're new to me. I've never tried one before. Here's the rest of my yarn. They have Harry Potter ones. They have Care Bear ones that look real cute. He bought his girlfriend the little pig from Minecraft, and that's even a different crochet hook, which is pink and so adorable. But yeah, I don't know if it even, oh, it is a 4mm hook, which is perfect because I use a 4mm all the time. So wanted to share that. Yeah, Woobles are super fun. Even if, you know, you're not a newbie, this is super cute and it's just a cute little fun project. I am going to get a sorting hat one, I think. J.K. Rowling is the worst human on the planet and I do not support her often, like hardly ever. Like I'm a millennial. I grew up with Harry Potter. I read all the books. I watched all the movies. I own all the movies, like all the things. I was a Potterhead until J.K. Rowling opened her horrible mouth. So I try to avoid all things Harry Potter now. But my daughter is currently costumes crew chief for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child that they're doing at their school for their big spring show. Because of that, I feel like I want to get her a little sorting hat just as like a memorabilia for the show. But we'll see. And let's talk one more thing and then we'll do this duck race and the giveaway stuff, okay? And then I'll let y'all get on your way and I will hopefully put all this together and it will be some sort of entertaining video. At the very least, I had a bunch of socks to show. So advent calendars, they're coming. I know there's been a lot of dyers that have already released theirs, put theirs up for sale. There were even some way early in my opinion. However, April seems to be about the time that us indie dyers start listing our advent calendars. The reason for that, and there's been some stuff going on Craft Snark on Reddit, the reason we start them so early or we list them so early is because they are a massive undertaking. If you're thinking about 24 mini skeins in every single person's calendar, let's say you sell 100. That is 2,400 of these little guys in 24 different colors, right? So like huge undertaking. And in order to dye them, you have to unskein them. You have to dye them, put them through the whole process. Then the best part, AKA worst friggin' part I dread every year, you have to reskein every single mini into a cute little mini skein. Then once that horrible pit of hell is complete, then you jump into the next circle of hell, which is packaging all of them individually and putting stickers on every single one and making sure, one, the numbers are correct and you have every day in the right package, and two, when you offer multiple bases, they all have to be correct so you don't accidentally mix up someone's advent. It's so much physical and mental work, I'm telling you. I know the people that are watching this, I'm sure y'all appreciate the heck out of your advent calendars. And if you've bought one from me in the past, I thank you so much. And I don't want to come off like I'm like complaining about them, because I honestly love them. They are just a massive undertaking, and I cannot state that enough. So when you see dyers starting to sell them in April, that is because we need April, May, June, July, August, September, hopefully finally then mailing in October. We need all those months to get through all of the preparation, right? And that doesn't even include when you have extras to go along with it. It's just a lot. And so I know that there's been some people that are like, it's too early, blah, 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 blah. I would never. Well, that's great for you. Don't buy one that early then. That's fine. But for the indie dyers that need that and the people that understand that, this is why they're early. I'm sorry. I am coming down from a workout. I'm starting to rant, but I just want to like make sure that's clear. Like, we don't do it so we can scam people out of hundreds of dollars. Absolutely not. We do it because we literally need that much time. And there are some dyers out there that will pre-buy all of the supplies and then dye them all up and then sell them once they're like completely done and ready to go. That's great. But when you're doing a massive amount of them, again, not only is that a huge mental, physical undertaking, but it's also a very big financial undertaking, because when you're thinking about ordering all those supplies and then you have to make sure that they sell in the end, it's a lot. And so please understand that we don't do it so we can scam people out of their money. We don't do it so we can get around some weird PayPal 6-month protection plan. No, like, we do it because we have to. And I'm actually pushing mine even further, so mine aren't going to be available until the beginning of May, just because I have this collection coming out. There's a lot of stuff going on and it just didn't feel right. So starting on May 3rd, my advent calendars. Here's the beautiful mood board. I'm so excited about these colors. So excited. It's like if my soul was in a picture, it would be this. They just, they make me so happy. So May 3rd, these will go on sale. I will have a probably fairly limited amount, and then we'll kind of see how that goes. If it fills up really quick, there's a good chance that maybe another month from now I will reopen another round. That's kind of how I've been doing things over the course of the past few years. It just seems to work out. And there are some people that are not ready to buy this early, and I understand that. I will also have ways to do installments, so you can pay in installments instead of all at once. That is all wrapped into my website. It is currently there and active, even on things that are advent calendars. So if that's something that you're into or you're needing, that's also there for you. And more information is going to come out in a newsletter and on Instagram and all the places. And I will hopefully try to have another video out before they actually go live. We'll see. I need to get my butt in gear and get some stuff done. But yes, so excited for 2025 Advent countdowns. There will be 24 mini skeins in this one. Last year I did sock sets. This time I am doing a daily Advent. It will be mini skeins. There are going to be about 5 different bases, I believe. One of them is new. It's going to be a silk sock, and it is dreamy. Perfect for shawls, things around your neck, wraps, that kind of thing, because the silk and the merino is just, it's so beautiful. All superwash. There will be a DK option as well. I'm gonna have my glitz, which is silver stellina, and glimmer, which is gold stellina, and yeah, my normal lofty sock and soft sock, and I think that's it. Yes, we'll see if I add some more. Like I said, bases are kind of always changing, and there's been a lot of new exciting bases coming out, so we'll see. But for now, that is the plan. There will be an option to add a full-size skein for day 25 or Christmas Day, if that's your thing. Same base, so that'll be completely different from the rest of the 24 days. That 25th day will also be available on its own, so maybe you just want to do like a Christmas Eve cast on, or you just want to treat yourself with one skein in December, that's cool too. There will also be an option to add on some fluff, because we know I love to add fluff, so the fluff will be a solid coordinating color of some kind, likely also taken from the mood board, so it'll go nicely in any project that you want to add it to. So that was so much talking. If you've made it this far, I adore you and appreciate you. I know it's been an eternity since I've done this. Let's do the giveaway, and then I'm going to talk life stuff, and then I need some lunch. So for this giveaway, this one is not the duck race. That'll be separate. For this giveaway, this is open to everyone that has watched the video. So I have a sock set here of tulips. This was listed earlier on and it sold really well. Everyone loved tulips. This is really pretty. A lot of the color in this one, the speckles are hiding. So there's a lot more green, and there's a bunch of pink speckles in here that you can't necessarily see, but I've got a sock set of tulips on Lofty Sock. So in order to be entered for this giveaway, I need you to like this video and then comment down below and just use tulips. That's easy enough to remember. I will ship for free in the United States. If you want to enter and you are outside of the United States, just know that I will need to invoice you for shipping, most likely. But we'll see. We'll see. Like with, I didn't want to get into it. Shipping's weird right now. If you want to enter and you're outside of the United States and you are drawn, randomly selected, we'll talk. Okay, like just know that, just yes. Otherwise, if you're within the United States, I will ship this out to you after I pull the winner. Okay, tulips, comment down below. Please be a subscriber as well, just because, you know, why wouldn't you want to be, right? For the duck race, let's do this. The sheep race, we'll see. I'm going to insert footage of said race. If this doesn't work out, then you're not going to see it. So I will have edited some stuff. But I'm hoping that it works out like I'm expecting. So the supporters over on Patreon are going into this first race, so you will see their names as the racers. Moving forward, next time I record, if you are a YouTube member of either tier, at the time of recording, then your name will be put in. You will become a racer as an optional extra giveaway. So I hope that makes sense. It'll make more sense. Yeah, let's go. So if you are the winner and you're watching this, please email me at hello@loftyloops.com and let me know that you were the duck race, sheep race, whatever race winner from episode 90, and I will get your stuff shipped out to you. And I probably already have your address from Patreon, but we'll work through that. Just make sure that if you're watching, you saw you win, hit me up. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna talk life stuff while the race is happening, just because meh, you guys are probably tired of looking at my face. So, all right, let's go to the races. Okay, so I didn't find any sheep, but I did find some cute little smiley face emojis, so I just figured, what the heck, we'll try this. This one I did set for 2 minutes, which is longer than I plan to do in the future, but I knew that I wanted to chat a little bit about life updates stuff, so I wanted to give myself some time. But you can see here I've got all my patrons loaded in, and they all get a little emoji assigned to them, and then they just run randomly, and it's super fun and super cute. So we'll let them do their thing while I chat a little bit. About a month ago, I was unfortunately laid off from my day job due to a reduction in force. A few people were laid off at the same time. I was affected by that. And so that has really just completely thrown me for a loop. I've had a day job, 40-hour a week career for the past almost 15 years. And so I've always been the one to choose to leave my job and start something new. So this is kind of scary. And I do obviously commiserate with everyone else that has been in this position. But that being said, this is really kind of silver lining is I have lots of time to dedicate to Lofty Loops yarns now that I didn't have before. I am still on the hunt for what comes next and will hopefully get another 40-hour a week position. But in the meantime, we are going to make the best of a bad situation, and we're leaning way into all of the yarn dyeing and all of the things. So I really, really appreciate all of the support that you've showed me, and I'm really excited for what's coming next. But yeah, things have been awful weird for a while, and hopefully I'll have some good news in the future. But for now, our good news is we have 5 seconds left, and it looks like Christy pulled ahead. She did. So Christy, congratulations, you are the winner. Please email me and I will get your skein shipped off to you. All right, y'all, I hope that was fun. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I know it was it was a little discombobulated, a little bit wonky, but that's kind of been my life recently. So if you want to watch me dye up April's Color Cube Club more in depth than I show in reels and things like that on Instagram, please head on over and subscribe to or join the YouTube channel. And if you want to be in the next race, like, let's go. Next time I record, I'm hoping to do at least a podcast a month. There might be more than that, seeing as how I have more free time now. And hopefully that also means I have more making time, so I have more things to show. So I appreciate you so, so much. I would not do this if it wasn't for y'all that show up every single time. I appreciate you. I just know that, like, even though we don't know each other and this is kind of like a one-way conversation, I do genuinely appreciate each and every one of you that sits and watches these and comments. I read all the comments. I always try to respond to everyone that I can. And I love the community we've got over on Instagram and in Discord, even though it's quiet lately, but I really appreciate all of you. And I love the Yarny community, and I couldn't see myself doing anything else. So with all that being said, I will see y'all next time. Have a good one and happy freaking making. Bye.